Realty Insight, brought to you by North Bay Property Shop, a member of Century 21 Blue Sky Region Realty Team.
It is Tuesday following the long weekend, and a special guest is in our studio to get us kicked off on the shortened work week. Leeann Noel,
Yes.
Century 21 Realty Insight.
Yes.
You are here and ready to share some expertise.
That's it. It never gets old when you call me a special guest. Thank you so much, Clarke, for having me.
I mean it in every sense. We are here, and you are here,
Yeah.
fresh off a trip to the United Kingdom. You went across the ocean
I did.
and
yes.
checked out Great Britain. You're tying this into today's topic of the story of homeownership in Canada with a new perspective.
Yeah, just a little bit. I would like to mention it. Yes, very privileged to get over to Cornwall in England, and I do have family that they're in the industry, and it was interesting to share stories in regards to the journey to homeownership and how different it is compared to the UK into Canada. But that's a whole other topic, and of course inspired me to talk about the Canadian dream, the story of homeownership in Canada.
You've broken it down into certain periods.
Yes.
The first being the First World War, 1914 to 1918. How does that tie into home ownership?
Well, I really want to talk about how during that time, yes, the World War, the First World War, that known as the Great War, that workers flocked to cities that had war-related industries. So there really wasn't enough housing with that rise of population in certain spots throughout Canada. And then, of course, building materials were diverted to war, to efforts for the war, and that contributed to a lot of shortages.
After the Roaring 20s, the Great Depression hit,
Yes.
and that kicks off the next portion of time. We're going to focus on 1930 to 1960.
Yes.
Why did you pick that time
Well,
frame?
1929, right? The Great Depression. So this created widespread unemployment, resulting in low home ownership. The Great Depression ended in 1941, and in 1944, the National Housing Act helped homeowners with mortgage insurance and with low-income housing. Yes. And then think, of course, the 1950s, everyone was moving into suburbia. Homeownership really went outside of the city.
1970 to today, it's hard to pin the topic down to one certain time
Yes.
in that lengthy time, but that is the next area we're focusing on,
Yeah.
1970 to current time.
For today. So the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation implemented programs to help housing affordability. Yes, there was an increase in immigration during the 80s, 90s, and of course happening today, which definitely contributes to a higher demand for housing. And the homeownership rate has covered around 68% since 2019.
Can the base housing, and we all know that there's housing up
Yes.
on the hill, but also in Graniteville, Birchhaven, there's the row houses that
Yeah.
were provided for military servicemen and women.
Yes.
Is this showing how flexible the real estate market can be, that it's been repurposed and now it's private?
Exactly, right? Yes, there's still that housing for our military. Thank you so much for your service, and so lucky that we do have a base here in North Bay. But yeah, we are seeing that shift where even military families now that are due to stay are getting into homeownership and getting away from the base. But yes, seeing that transition has been a great thing.
Looking ahead to our next topic,
Yes.
masonry, mostly exterior, but with shifting design, masonry can be used indoors as well. What are we going to be talking
Exactly.
about in 2 weeks' time?
2 weeks' time, I will be back if you will have me, Clarke.
We will.
And it's going to be 5 common masonry problems. One of these things I do want to touch on, which I do see regularly, is what's called efflorescence, and we're going to get into all those details in 2 weeks.
Leeann Noel, Century 21, thank you for being here today.
It's always a pleasure and a privilege. Thank you, Clarke.